I'll honor my parents, my teachers, my leaders, my elders, and those in authority. I'll be clean and honest in all my thoughts, my words, and my deeds. And I'll strive in everything I do to work together with my fellow men of every creed and race for the greater happiness of all and the honor and glory of my country. And I do love my country, Trinidad and Tobago. Hi, Kenneth. Hi, Margaret. Hi, Emmeline. And all those who are locked on and will continue to come on as I continue. Thank you all always. I appreciate you all so much. The weekend has started, and this is no ordinary weekend. Hi, Christopher. This weekend is going to end on where we end up an election on Monday, and we would know that the PNM has been re-elected and given a big mandate to continue the governance of this country. So let me start one time. So I want to tell you a little bit about a lady called Elmina Clark Allen, and I'll tell you why I'm telling you about her. So Elmina Clark Allen was a former senator and minister during the first Republican Parliament, 1976 to 1981, an MP for Toko Manzalina, and minister during the second Republican Parliament, 1981 to 1986. Clark Allen died on June 27, 2000. And why I'm mentioning her is because the highway on Sangre Grande was open yesterday, and that highway was named after Miss Elmina Clark Allen. So let me just show you a little of it. This is definitely not it. Let me get it again. Hey. Right, so that's one side of it. The other side, of course, is yes. So I don't know if they will call it a four-way dual carriageway. I don't know if that's what it is called it, but that is the Sangre Grande highway that has been open. And I know there are other parts of it still, if I'm not mistaken. So this is the highway. Yeah, congratulations again to the government of Trinidad and Tobago and the minister in the Ministry of Works and Transport. Excuse me, Senator Juan Sinanan. Yeah, so that's it. And it's named, as I just said, after Miss Elmina Clark Allen, who was the Member of Parliament for Toko Manzalina. Now, you all remember that highway? You all remember the behaviors of persons with that highway? You all remember that? So let me just refresh your memory, because again, the UNC is somewhere in that opposite. Always opposing development of this country. For them, nothing could happen. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Joyce. Hi, Candace. Hi, Juliet. Hi, Miss Yvette. Nothing. No development must happen for this country. So this was their behavior, and had the government under Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley buckle under that type of pressure, the people of Sangre Grande and environs, Toko, Manzalina, all that, would not have a highway today. So this was Wednesday, the 26th of April, 2023. And it says here, it was in the news there, Sinanan slams highway to nowhere comment. Minister of Works and Transport Juan Sinanan believes that a highway in East Trinidad is long overdue, and that despite what opposition says, it is not a highway nowhere. Sinanan was speaking in Parliament during the debate on a motion for acquisition of land for a public purpose which was later passed. The Churchill Roosevelt Highway extension to Manzanilla is set to be further extended from Komuto Junction to the Toko Main Road. Because of this, some residents have had to give up their lands. Sinland said it was the first time in the country's history that his ministry has formally vested the lands prior to the completion of construction. It's a level of accountability and transparency that I have brought to the ministry, he said. Sinland said a highway improves people's standard of living, creates opportunities, and a better society, adding that this project didn't just come out of a hat. He said the opposition has often called this a highway to nowhere, but that when the highway was being continued all the way to San Fernando, going through Cuba, Shogunas, and all those areas, the government did not take hat stand that the highway was going nowhere. He said the people in the East deserve a highway as they suffer the inconvenience of spending long hours in traffic jam. Cuba North MP Ravi Ratiram clarified that the original extension project began in the forest and ended in the forest, which was why it was referred to as a highway to nowhere. So that was their conversation, and it continued more and more, and it had more comments and more negative comments and more negative comments. But the highway is here, and it is not a highway to nowhere, right? Minister Sinland said he was puzzled that the UNC continued to spread this rumor when in 2020 the party got 10,900 votes in the general election from Komuto Manzanilla and 7,300 from Toko Sandy Grande. These are people. These are some of your supporters. They are real people living in a real place. So that's what they were calling that highway, a highway to nowhere, nobody living there, all they building highway for, that's a UNC. But today, thank God, under the People's National Movement, that the people of Toko, Sandy Grande, and environs have a highway that will greatly improve the traffic congestion. So let me continue. So again, the Prime Minister, there was a meeting up in Sandy Grande. Hi, Constance. Hi, Dexter. Hi, David. There was a meeting in Sandy Grande last night. And let me tell you, I was really impressed. Sandy Grande, Toko, Komuto, Manzanilla, and they come out. And all supporting persons, they came out and they showed a force of red. I am confident that Komuto Manzanilla is going to the PNM. I am confident that Sandy Grande is going back to the PNM. So I want that crowd to translate and people going out and vote on Monday the 28th. So the crowd was huge. The energy was real on point. We saw in the crowd Dinesh Rambali. That is one of the people they call dissidents from the UNC. He was there. We know Senior Counsel Lala has already, I don't know if you call that across before, but shown support because he said he had enough of UNC, them ain't going nowhere. He fed up try and all that and whatever. He want good governance, and he see this new chapter of the People's National Movement give the potential for good governance. And since that, they call him tar baby, they call him vagrant and all kind of thing. Well, Papa, they jump out at Rambali also. They call him a Judas, traitor and all kind of thing, Anna Roberts. But you know the strange thing? If people also call Anna Roberts, so he was to get a response back that he is an old drunk. He can't keep a woman. And probably he pin smaller than small. You know, he ain't gonna take that because them like to get talk and can't get talk, you know. So the man Rambali come across and sit down and listen to a meeting and think, why is he a Judas for that? When people from PNM going across, well, they ain't Judas. They're just going for good governance. But when they come across by PNM from UNC, there's Judas, there's vagrant and all kind of thing, right? And I keep saying again, if that is the way they could treat and talk about one of their own, because Canada stop about one of their own. I remember when Avinash Singh came to the PNM, that's the guy who does do the farming and stuff. He's a senator thinking agriculture. She said that the PNM take one of their own. So I just paraphrasing what she said. Not agreeing, but paraphrasing. If they could treat one of their own so, how they could treat me, who is, they would consider not one of their own. People, take note. But again, I say this is one country. We are cosmopolitan. Every Christian is find an equal place. And I working with anybody of any ethnic group. Once you're on seriousness, I want to build this country. If you're on folly, and I respect you, you respect me. If you step out of time and you disrespect me, I will disrespect you. And I think that's how it is, do unto others, they have them do unto yourself. So that's why I try to always be truthful and respectful. So let me continue. So the meeting was nice, large. The Prime Minister was well received, all the members of Parliament, and the candidate for Komoto Manzalina, Sanjeev, I think I see, oh gosh, I must get Mr. Buru, Dr. Buru. No, he's not a doctor, he's a lawyer. Mr. Buru, well, let me tell you something. He had real love of it. Then people love that man too bad, and I hope they come out and really, really, really vote and turn this thing around. So the Prime Minister again had to clarify because that girl from PSA, and let me put this on the record. Hi, Valerie, hi, Mel. Let me put this on the record. We're talking about PSA members now. I might be off by a couple, 100 or something, right? PSA membership, well, I know before the election was about 12,000 something. Only, let me say about 13,000. I don't know what happened since after the election, but before the election, said about 13,000. PSA members, we're not talking about public officers in general. PSA members who are public officers, about 12,000, 13,000. In the election on March 10th, Felicia Thomas got about 2,000 votes. So that could never be the members of PSA giving she no authority and no mandate, and for nobody to say the public servants go on UNC. That is a very nasty and skewed and wicked thing to say. But again, they need to say that to make it look as if UNC has support. Because you can't tell me out of a membership of 12,000, 13,000 people, 2,000 vote for you, and that signals to all of them to say how public officers go on UNC. That is far from the truth. And not only that, the public service have about 70,000, 80,000 people. All of them is not UNC, all of them is not PNM, all of them is not this, that, is a whole cosmopolitan group, different affiliations, religious and otherwise. You can say that the public service supporting you and going across the UNC and carrying we across the UNC. Carry yourself and the 2,000 people who vote for you. I want to call out the Registered Trade Union today, Mr. Edward Lafouk, and ask him how much more the 10 or 11,000 PSA members who did not vote for Felicia Thomas, which is the greater amount of people and who vote for she, how much more that they're supposed to endure with this girl who take the whole union, she say, and carry it in UNC, and then tell the calling people, it is alleged, they're calling people to tell public officers to vote for UNC because they go get 10%. How much more are we to endure, Mr. Edward Lafouk? Because we don't get proper representation, we don't get nothing from the PSA. They don't hold proper meetings, proper general council, there's no proper accountability. How much more does the members of PSA have to endure, Mr. Edward Lafouk, before you step in? Because your remit is to treat with those matters. How much more? Because public officers call me today and they want to know what to, I tell them to write to you. I tell them write to you. So when you see the names start to come and the letters start to come, I tell them write to you because they fed up, they want the money, they want the negotiations settled, they want to go into a new period, and they want to go on. Felicia Thomas has taken us into UNC hands, as if we voted. Well, I didn't vote for her, but the 2,000 people who vote, they must have said 2,000 vote for she. Because they vote because they must believe in what she said. The 11,000, 12,000 public officers who are paying members of the union never agreed for Felicia Thomas to take the union to UNC. Because I will tell you what. So is it now they're just going to support the UNC PSA members and those who are PNM not going to get any help or representation for them? Because that's what it is. I want to show them, Mr. Lafouk, let somebody call you and tell you, I want to show you what they have hanging in the lobby of PSA and tell me if that is right. Because if they could hang up a UNC flag, then they're supposed to hang up a PNM flag, PDP flag, PDP flag, all the flags of all the political parties taking part in the election, they're supposed to hang up that in PSA. Because the members of PSA who paying $100 come from all those political spaces or none at all. This is what they have in the lobby of PSA. Again, I'm calling on the registered trade union, Mr. Edward Lafouk, how much we have to endure with this girl, Felicia Thomas, who win the PSA election and say her first order of business is not to thank the 2,000 people who vote for she. It's not to settle the negotiation, but it's to unseat this government. And the Constitution of Trinidad and Tobago, the bars a public officer from getting involved in active politics, like how she went up on the hostel and talk. That is against the Constitution of this country, which is the higher than the PSA Constitution. It is the law, the supreme law of the land. How come nobody? How come nothing is done but me, Mr. Lafouk, who put on a PNM jersey as an ordinary member, went to a PNM sports there and take out some pictures. I was insulted and dragged all over and say what I'm doing is wrong. That's why we just have to say like it's one rule for one and one rule for the next one. Because she's the president of PSA. Anyhow, she would have sent on a platform, the UNC platform, after one set of people in green jersey. You see them coming out of Wassa in the green jersey, and I don't know if it's straight from there when the meeting, but in the meeting and the story on the papers is public officers go on UNC or supporting UNC. And you see people in green jerseys. I am 99%, because you always have to give a little room for error. I am 99% sure that all them people in green jersey there is not public officers. I'm also confident, about 99% confident, that some of them people in green jersey may be daily rated workers. I'm also confident, with leaving room for the error, that some of them must be not even workers or PSA members. But anyhow, they were in the meeting, and on a platform again, she started to talk about Stuart Young. They're going to send out mass workers and whatever. Although the Prime Minister would have said no before, he had to double down. She doubled down, and he had to come back again to let them know what time it is. It's not true. So this is the Prime Minister clarifying again about Wassa.
We are not getting rid of Wassa and TNTech, and we're not privatizing it, and we're not looking to get rid of workers.
Prime Minister Stuart Young making yet another attempt to clarify claims by the Public Services Association that the government intends to send home hundreds of Wassa workers.
But here what I want to know, you're calling Marvin a liar? That when he said to Trinidad and Tobago that Wassa was overstaffed, he was misleading the population, that he was spreading propaganda, that when he stated 426 managers will be going home, he was lying. That's what you're saying, Stuarty.
But former Public Utilities Minister Marvin Gonzalez has taken the PSA president to task.
So Felicia is a mischief maker. She's a liar.
He says there were two cabinet subcommittees, one chaired by him and the other by Planning and Development Minister Penelope Beckles, which looked at a wide range of issues that led to mismanagement at Wassa. He says it was Beckles' report that was accepted.
So she must also talk about the findings in that 2020 report, which pointed to companies associated with key officials of the PSA who were engaging in contractual arrangement with Wassa.
The Prime Minister clarified last night that the subcommittee report referenced by Thomas was in fact rejected by Cabinet. Efforts to reach Public Utilities Minister Calum Imbert for comment were unsuccessful. Doris Polo, CNC3 News.
I don't know what I expect Minister Calum Imbert now to do. He now became the Minister of Public Utilities. He was the Minister of Finance all the time. The two people who answer is the people to answer. The Public Utilities Minister, who was the Minister at the time, Minister Marvin Gonzalez, and MP Penelope Beckles, who is the Minister in, who is that ministry, the boy, I was only forget, only put it up and show me now. The righteous people answer. And you hear what he called Felicia Thomas, she's a liar. I would say she's a liar too. I will call she a liar. and a dirty, dangerous, stink liar. That girl is a liar. I tell her we had a matter with Watson Duke in court. She was nowhere there in no meeting. The girl attacked herself and said she was in the meeting with Duke and this is the minister, all that, and attacked herself and signed affidavit, you know, about things that she know nothing about, you know. That's how that girl, you know what that's called? She unfortunately Sasha Stripping. All them things I'm sure she doing. It's not on she own volition, you know. That, anyway, you Golam, I tell you already, Felicia Thomas, you will suffer like dog, you know, for what you're doing to public officers. And if you want to be in your politics, you're free to go in your politics by yourself. Nobody vexes you because everybody have a right to choose whatever political party they want to support. Just like the members of PSA, but you can't force nothing on people, and that's what you're doing. You force PSA because all they want is the negotiation to be settled. People, you know, that's what they do, start to interfere with my life because they can't take the truth. But you know what? The truth is a brute, and I know they're going to stay with me. All right? When all they see it go down, don't worry, coming back up. Even if I have to restart the life and a new life, don't worry on yourself. Be right here. We're in it for the long haul. So as I was saying again, you can't drag the whole, all the membership into a political party. If you want to join with the UNC, that's your business. That is your democratic right. But you in charge of an organization who have a demographic, all type of people. You can force them, and that's what she's doing, forcing people at the PSA, members of the PSA, to join with the UNC. Why don't Felicia Thomas go back in front the special tribunal? Because in front of the special tribunal, there's a period 14, 15, 16, and because it's in the special tribunal, there's a 5-year, no, so it's 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Why is she going in front of the CPO, in front of the special tribunal, and argue? But you know why they can't do that? Because the PSA has no documentation, no argument, nothing to show the government could pay more than the 4% they were saying. So even if she go in front of the special tribunal under 5 years, it could only split up 2-2. Why she ain't going to argue for it? Or why she ain't take it out, the special tribunal, go back in front of the CPO and argue for the 6 years, the two-year period? Because you know why? I tell you only with 100% conviction. The PSA has no data to show the government could have paid more than 4%. Not only that, because there's politicians and in politics that do not want to settle anything for public officers, hold it a ransom for public officers to vex with the government, and they feel like, oh, make the government people in vote, and because of that, the UNC go get in. Not a shit of that, Felicia Thomas. You will suffer dread for the wickedness you're doing to public officers. So let me continue. Roger's our next one. You go drag like dog. All the time they're telling you, the UNC go get 10%. And as Prime Minister say, and he rightly say, Kamla Prasad Bisesa never say she's going to give 10%. It's them talking and talking. Here, Roger now. All here. Here, Roger now. Hi, Shireen. Listen to the words Roger using now. Eh? This was in CNC 3, April the 25th, Roger. Wage talks to begin at 10% under UNC rule. You hear the word? To begin at 10%. He ain't saying they're going to get 10%. They're saying that again, eh? It's to start at 10%, meaning that negotiations has to happen. Okay, there you go. President General of the OWTU, Ansel Roger, has vowed that workers who held out against the government 4% wage offer will start new negotiations at 10% once the UNC wins the general election. And did they tell you only we will get 10%? That's what I was saying. They didn't say we had to go and negotiate for anything. Now all of a sudden, you have to go and negotiate, right? Speaking at a campaign meeting held at Vickers Car Park in the Moruga constituency on Thursday night, Rosa slammed the PNM for what he called a betrayal of workers across the country, especially in critical sectors like Petrotrin, TNTech, the National Insurance Board, and other parts. You see the unfair, unjust 4%, wicked 4%, 2 by 2, with no consolidation of cost of living for that period. For all the unions who stood up in defense of a fair wage, those unions who did not accept the 4% negotiation will start at 10%. I want to tell Roger, this government didn't have a history of lying to people, because I remember the Minister of Finance, the members saying, take the 4%, this is what we have right now. They were arguing for the consolidation of COLA. They didn't give it, but they told us, when we come back to the table, which have been for the period 2020, 21, 22, 23, that the COLA will be consolidated. Isn't that what happened with Tutor? Tutor got the COLA consolidated. So if you didn't get it for the 4%, the promise is when they come back in front, the CPO, that they will treat to that, and that isn't what they did? Okay. And who you know, look, just recently, the daily rated contractor, general workers, something, from up in South for the corporation, daily rated officers, who have the woman as the president, Miss Emmeline or something, so she accepted the 4%. Amalgamated accepted the 4%. Teachers accepted the 4%. Police, fire, all them. The only people in accept the 4% is the Public Service Association with public officers, and TTPOs, they are not public officers, and some other groups that is not public officers. Roger also reminded Petrotrin workers just now of the suffering they endured under the PNM decision to shut down refining. But you didn't enjoy anything because your money did nice, your settlement money did nice, and it was right there working in the refinery and getting big money, and no, the refinery not making no money. So we're talking about suffering. In fact, I used to hear it of a man calling every time a 95.5 Roger for a pension. He called on behalf of pensioners. You are suffering them, and it's alleged you get $90,000 a month. Your work's nowhere, there's no bargaining unit, and you still getting OWT. Who's suffering refinery workers more than you? You suffering the workers more than what telling Roger you go suffer and drag like a dog, you know. When people say it, they go say, oh God, that was Roger, how we get so? As the tears of people go fall on here, you know. Okay, all they talking about suffering, but I ain't see none of them leaving Trinidad and go. Carnival sell out, cars sell out, groceries selling out, feds sell out, concerts selling out, people traveling normal. What the suffering is, it's all the suffering people, and it's all the mind, all the stinking, dirty mind. That's why the sufferation go come back, and you go see sufferation. When the Most High, Almighty God ready for you, you go see why sufferation. I ain't reading no more, because you're making no sense. All of a sudden now, they have to negotiate in front of UNC, when UNC come in office. It's no again 10% again. And up to now, Kamala ain't say she giving no 10%. It's them talking a pack of shit right through. 10%. Kamala have never said she's going to give public officers 10%. All they pinch all themselves and read between the line. Registrar General, where's it? The Registrar Trade Union, Mr. Edward LaFouque. Okay. Step up, sir. Okay. All they remember the NAR. During the NAR time, all them plans Roger and them talking about, and we Kamala talking about all that, that is a remedy and a recipe for the IMF. We've been there and done that. Public officers lost their work. They lost their COLA, 15%. People who had their homes in Santa Rosa was walking back to HGC and giving back the keys. People's car was being repossessed. People had to fly out and go and work in the States, and wherever they could get work, they leave their children behind. barrel children because they sending back barrel, no mother, no father down here, the grandmother fighting up as much as she could, or an aunt or something. All here, the IMF ain't no joke. Ask Barbados, who under austerity measures right now with the IMF, their austerity, their structural adjustment program is called BERT, B-E-R-T, Barbados Economic Recovery Transformation or something. So ask we beloved Mia Motley. When she came in, she had to send home 1,500 public officers. After when the man before she was the prime minister, Fernell or something, so he had sent home 3,000 public officers. She said she's not going to do that when she gets in. Never. When she come in, she apologized and said she had to send them home. So Barbados sent home 4,500 public officers under the IMF and the Structural Adjustment Program. I read and tell earlier, food is so expensive for the elderly in Barbados that one woman there, she's an advocate. She's worried about the fact that the elderly are not eating nutritious food. So you could probably see next 5-6 years that the elderly in Barbados having all kind of starvation and complication and malnutrition and all kind of thing. Eh? Okay. That happening in Trinidad? No. Remember the IMF? So listen to this. This is Marsha Walker.
I have been looking at the amount of money that UNC is spending in this election season. And to be honest, when I was there, all I heard was that, financiers are pulling out because the amount of money that they spent in 2020, and it was sort of like a lost investment and whatnot. And all of a sudden, you're seeing tons and tons, millions and millions of dollars being spent on the UNC's campaign. And I just have to wonder, where is this money coming from? Me and my wild imagination, maybe that's what it is, maybe it's conspiracy theory. But then somebody else asked, no, that is not asked. And I'm wondering, is it really, people are talking about it, and sorry to ask around, where do you all think, how is UNC getting all this money and whatnot, Kamala taking it out of her own pocket, what's going on? And a lot of us were kind of going, maybe, do you think it's EMBD contractors? Because, maybe they struck a deal or something, if UNC got into government, the case will just disappear. And, it's, as I say, it might just be our wild imagination, but this raises, once again, that issue of campaign financing, declaring where are you getting these, it's like, I'm hearing talk about $150 million being spent on a campaign, and it's reasonable to us, those contractors who, that PMBD case, you heard it, when you read some of the new submissions and whatnot, it seems to me that if PNM gets a third term, they may very well, get the time they need to have to find, to find them guilty. I don't know, so I feel as though there really is a need, it's a matter of public interest, for both PNM and UNC to declare where they're getting these millions of dollars to campaign. And as I said, can we ask the question, should the political leader of the UNC answer, are any of those contractors who are part of that EMBD case, are they funding, are they financing? How are we ever going to find out without proper campaign reform, campaign finance reform? And it's something that's very worrisome. All I can do is ask questions at this point. We don't have, as citizens, we have no real way of asking these parties, these political parties, to account for the money. And I would hate to think, as I say, it's questions. At this point, all I can do is ask questions. But I'm just thinking about it, EMBD contractors, are they Have they made a deal? I don't know, I don't know. As I said, it might just be my wild, crazy imagination, but I do think it's a matter of public interest because I would hate to find out that is true. That it's true that it's EMBD contractors funding this, maybe because they're hoping that if UNC comes into power, the case just disappears. As I say, I have a wild imagination, that may be it, but I just am amazed at the amount of money that is being spent on these campaigns, on the UNC campaign. It's crazy. And just questions by a very concerned citizen.
What is instructive there? She didn't say being spent on the PNM. Her concern was the campaign for the UNC, and all they hear what she say. I just explained these things until this Friday before the elections and on people trying to call people to tell people they must vote for the UNC. Well, then listen to this one. I didn't say so. I just want to let you know, me did not say that. I didn't say these things at all. These people out there, anybody could get what they say and play it and hear for themselves. Hear this one.
Julian John, our message, I wanted to know that I saw you. The day I went upstairs and cross-cut as the city boss. As everybody come to buying something. When you ask to go upstairs, you come to city boss and they escort you upstairs. Then cross-cutters in Cora Junction. All of a sudden, all the ghosts get robbed. Cross-cutters, all the ghosts get robbed. And it so happened that somebody to tape Alexander, which is not a police again, on the crime scene, same time. I find the timing from what I see to what going on. All the staging, all the on a breeze or something. What it is? What it is, what they go do again to get power in this place, boy. And I wait to see this video and I wait to remember when they went upstairs by cross-cutters, they see the boss in cross-cutters. As you ride by the counter. All of a sudden, now they get robbed. And somebody did the tape Alexander on the scene. So all in holy robbers? How come all in holy robbers? Yes, all they get robbed. And big ghost shit like holy. This is the show, little. How far will go to get power with these finances and them outside here? This is how far they're going to go. So when all they win, all they don't care about nobody outside here. No black, no white, no Chinese, no Syrian. All they do is care about themselves, all they in parliament, all they go and make sure and fix all yourself and all your family. All you need to stop this shit. All of a sudden, NTW get robbed vehicle. All of a sudden, you get robbed your vehicle. So this is a new way of politics in this country. Yeah? I ain't stupid. And I'm looking on. So I keep praying up more and I will keep exposing all in. I want to know what Julian John doing going up in cross-cutters upstairs the city boss. About a month ago, we was going upstairs there, It's their part of their finance. If I lie, go strike me down. All the stage and all these things. And all I need to stop it. Remember the story the person who cried wolf. And when the wolf do come, nobody come to help. Or let's stop crying wolf on all yourself. Stop it. Just again, a couple pieces of silver. There's a God and He's watching. All you need to stop and repent of yourself, repent of the sins, repent of the wrongdoings in this life of our politics. You give up all your soul for power. Do not give up all your soul for power. You have nobody more powerful than God. Or let's sit down and reflect on yourself. Everybody have a blessed night and share my message.
Me, I say so. All the listener, that is who Roger and them, Felicia Thomas and all of them trying to convince people to vote to bring back in this country. Everybody who talking have one tone you hearing corruption, contractors, money. Don't care about nobody. You're hearing one tone. Listen to this too. I just come to show what the people saying, you know. Okay.
Right? From the very first day you all went into opposition in 2015, right? You were supposed to be hold the government accountable, but you failed. You failed in the parliament, outside of the parliament. Now election is close by. You all are coming and kissing old people, kissing unborn babies, kissing children, kissing dogs, kissing the people gay. You know what sense does it make? Stop that nonsense. Let me tell you something. Kissing the gay too. Yes. Listen, I did not come out. I don't want hypocrisy come and hold my hand and tell me this and tell me that and the next. No, my friends. The United National Congress brought in a gentleman named Roger Alexander. You recall that?
Yeah.
Top brass on the police service, and that created a big explosion in the UN for that sort of thing. Lo and behold, now we saw the former Attorney General under the People's National Movement, John Jeremy, appearing.
People talking and it's not we saying it, you know. Okay. You hear he say they ain't do nothing. It's their own saying it, you know. Their own coming out and testifying now. Coming up and and them do nothing. But now for this election, they come in to hug up thing. You see the man say don't want no hypocrisy. We hear, you know. It's not who looking like we only talking, eh? Let me play this one too. This is what I'm going to play to bring back to all your attention. When Kamala Persaud and they were in office, the way they disrespected, the way they just govern with no care for nobody, only for their friends and their financiers. That's who it was about. This one I'm showing you here from 2013, when the PNM under Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley led the protest in Port of Spain for Section 34. I want to bring it back to all you know and why the people came out. All peoples came out. I was in that march. All peoples came out. It was the biggest march in modern history. I bring it back to all you, and all because of the nastiness and the corruption of Kamala Persaud and the UNC.
To many who felt the opposition PNM would not attract support for its march, this was the answer. Here at Abercrombie Street, around 1:30 in the sweltering heat, they sang lustily, "We shall throw them out," as they marched uptown. They had gathered at Woodford Square for 1 in the afternoon, dressed in red, armed with placards, ready to show their disapproval with the government over the early proclamation of Clause 34 that favored party financiers, a decision many have deemed deliberate and calculated, and for which the government is yet to give a reason enough to appease those angered by it. A conversation between the police and political leader, Dr. Keith Rowley, and then they were off, stopping first at the Ministry of National national security, where their protest march took on a different twist. With drums, they marched uptown, and Dr. Rowley's side, THA Chief Secretary of London, and here to show their support, MSJ leader David Abdullah, Vincent Cabrera, and others. Religious support as well, as some conducted mini ceremonies on the way. As they moved uptown in their volumes, look at the crowd as they walked outside the Bishop Anstey High School, nearing the Savannah. Many having joined along the way, the distance was only swelling the numbers. This took them around the Savannah, where police were not leaving anything to chance as they neared the U.S. Embassy, given the threats that presently exist, but they moved past without a hitch.
It is very rare that the Queen's Park Savannah is shut down at this time of the day forever. But this is a time when students are going home from school and a lot of people are affected. But the PNM believes that this march, the first march that has been held by the party in a very, very long time, is very, very important to getting their message about the democracy of the country.
A democracy, the PNM says, is under threat, but one they believe is being guarded by the raised voices of the people. But even if by then one had doubts, the sheer size of the crowd was staggering, as by the time the front had reached Queen's Royal College, the back had passed the embassy. As they neared President's house, the acting president, Timothy Hammersmith, arrived under tight security. A heavy police presence as the crowd stood in the rain, chanting and singing. Party officials gathered petitions, 25,000 of them, but when Dr. Rowley and his team tried to enter President's house, it created a security nightmare for the police. The police would form a bubble around them, eventually allowing them free passage without the crowd. Dr. Rowley and his team would emerge about 45 minutes later, telling the audience that he had asked the president for some specific things.
I have asked the president to trace the document backwards to its origin, the document that asked him to sign the proclamation, and make sure that at every stage in the proceedings, right down to the drafting of the cabinet note, that the country's rules, regulations, and laws were followed. That he asked the Prime Minister to give him, in writing, an explanation as to why the cabinet did what the cabinet did on the 28th of August.
President of the Banking and General Workers Union, Vincent Cabrera, made his position clear.
When I got the invitation from Dr. Rowley, I wondered whether I should come here. And then I said, as I was marching today, I told Dr. Rowley, it's Kamala have me here. Because if they didn't do the nonsense they're doing, I would not have been here.
And so too MSJ leader David Abdullah.
That bad governance was an attack on our democracy. And what the people are demonstrating here today by your thousands is that people power can trump the power of those in office who are corrupt.
Dr. Rowley says he has asked the president to respond in a timely manner, vowing that this is not the end of the beginning, but the beginning of the end for the current regime.
All I remember, and don't forget, we were marching in the street against our democracy being stolen, against corruption, against Kamala Prasad Bissessa. You know who you didn't see there? Roger. You didn't see OWT there. You know who was there? That's what I tell you. The only person I hold with a little credibility still is David Abdullah. You hear what I have to say? But that is who. Them calling people and paying people to vote, but code is yellow and people must vote for them. That's what people want to vote for. Have you ever seen under the People's National Movement stewardship of this country 2015 to now, That people come out so to march because of democracy. They feel like democracy being eaten away and taken away. With all the tongues in the store, you ever see that? No. It's under the UNC. And wherever carnation, reincarnation, I put themselves, PP, but it's UNC. But they're telling all them Monday, that is what to vote for. Remember, don't forget, let me continue. I'll bring him back to you again what MSJ say. Remember the MSJ say. I didn't say. That is what they say. And these people want me to vote for that. I tell you, people like Roger and them go suffer like dog. Listen to me.
Seeking company. The MSJ and its leader David Abdullah does not care for the company of miserable, dishonest people. Imagine of all persons, Rudal Munilal, a man about whom there is nothing honorable, who is dishonest and unprincipled, and in the dictionary such a person is called a rogue. When you see he is trying to fabricate a story to tarnish the good name of David Abdullah, a man who walked away from corruption of the partnership government and who helped remove them from power, you know he is feeling, and this is Dr. Munilal, miserable and looking for company. Why would we say that Dr. Munilal is a miserable man? It all goes back to being part of the kleptocratic elites who are now currently out of power, the UNC. If you go to Wikipedia, it is clearly laid out for all to see and understand. A kleptocracy is a government with corrupt leaders, kleptocrats, that use their power to exploit the people and natural resources of their own territory in order to extend their personal wealth and political powers. Typically, this system involves embezzlement of funds at the expense of the wider population. A kleptocracy is a government ruled by corrupt politicians who use their political power to receive kickbacks, bribes, and special favors at the expense of the populace.
Right? That the UNC they're talking about, and Kamla Prasad Bisesa. Listen to the dog, the one that tell all they go drag. Listen to this dog. Listen to him.
Trinidad and Tobago, this is just but a small reminder how this government really worked for you. Evidently, on May 24, 2010, this country was fooled into believing that the UNC had the country's best interests at heart. And it was for that and that only reason you gave them an opportunity to govern. But today in 2015, before you go to the polls on September the 7th, you have not only a clear record of their abysmal performance, but you have actually lived 5 long, bitter years of the consequences of their actions. For these 5 long, bitter years, you helplessly looked on in horror and dismay as we slide into an abyss of bad governance, the likes of which the country has never experienced. Even though they committed to referendum and the right of recall, like so many other commitments, they just did not deliver. So as a citizen, you could neither recall them nor communicated your disgust and dissatisfaction with their extreme poor level of governance. But now, you have this only opportunity which you can ill afford to waste. You will have only yourself to blame if you do not exercise your democratic right to save our country from becoming a failed state. We have traveled.
You hear, Roger? Oh, they hear that, man? So when I say he goes suffer like a dog, or let's see why I'm saying that, look at him here again. And that the man standing and say, should tell we. Eh? But Kamla. Eh? Vote UNC? Eh? Oh, look at this. Let me get it just now. God, I hope I have it. Oh God. here. Them not right here. Them not right here. Just now. Let me see if I find it here. Give me a minute, told you. Let me see. Come now, man. Okay, not this one. Give me a minute. Not that. I'll get folio. I'll get folio. I'll get it for audio. What do you think is, boy? Wait there. I'll get it right. And the voices, no. Yeah. You might tell you something. Sometimes when you're looking for the thing you want, you don't get it just now. What do you think? What do you think? CC camera. What is this? Nope. Right.
Throughout WTU at the Prime Minister's private residence in Philippines Thursday morning, they had come to send a message with their voices and on their knees.
This morning, Father and friend, look at this government, Lord Jesus. From the crown of the head to the sole of the foot, this our Lord. Father, weed and pluck out this our Jesus, if thou be so pleased.
The police were watching, but then they came across and asked them to move.
So I don't want you to obstruct the passageway. You wouldn't go in the obstruction, so right? The state of emergency was declared from this residence, and therefore the country's business is undertaken right here. And therefore, while it might be a private residence, it is people's business that is discussed here. And therefore, it is the people that come this morning with a message. We aim in justice. We came in peace.
Roger and the union stood their ground as the debate continued.
Are you saying so? That the pavement is the Prime Minister's?
No, I am saying that entrance right now here where you are standing here.
Well, we are saying,
I expect you not to obey the law, not to.
I expect you not to point at me.
But I'm not pointing. That's your
point.
That's me.
I expect you to be more courteous than that.
I am courteous. Yes, all right. I am saying that you should be courteous to the people who live around here and do not block their entrances, right?
They insisted they would stay on the pavement, arguing that they wanted to speak out on what they deemed unprecedented corruption and unsettled negotiations.
Man, that they settle the police negotiations. We demand.
Yeah? Well, they hear Roger down on his knees and they're singing song of Jesus. And the Lord, I want to tell you, don't call the Lord God name in vain, you know. And don't do it children no wrong, you know. Roger doing that children wrong. You was right there saying massive corruption. All of this and that, and today you're standing. You talk about negotiations, they settled. So you think she will settle this one now? Yeah? You encouraging people to join that, Roger? Roger! Okay. This is how, or this is who, then want we. And telling not me. Telling people to vote for. Yeah? This is how she treat the same African youth and African people. Where they love to talk about, they so love them. Because the PNM don't love them. And never see PNM treat African youth so.
I want them to know, don't give the fellas on them on their street, no frame gate. We fed up. That's all I want to do. You know why? Because I know how you beat up my son and I don't forget to know. I'm forgetting you know. So yeah, we're looking at me for you.
You cannot to me about
I remember on Beetham Gardens, if you can recall, during a state of emergency, there were police buses lined up left, right, and center during the 2011 state of emergency. All you had to be was black, and from Beetham, Laventille, Picton, Junction, Maloney, La Hocketa, Duncan Street, Temple Street, Seagat. So when Mrs. Facade, the Cessa, is trying to talk to us and tell us that when she wins, we will win, we know that we must reject that, because in that state of emergency, we lose, so don't take that tie up. When they show you who they are the first time, believe them.
Something is not right. Something is not right. Something is not right. Something is right. Something is right. Something is not right.
Yeah? It is alleged orders come, lock them up them black and on them. We could find things to charge them after, but she love we. You ever see PNM do them thing? Okay, you hear Kareem Marcel, young Kareem Marcel, the attorney from Beetham who going up for Laventille. I don't know, I don't ever remember, either west or east. Or move on for the area. You hear what he said? All you had to be back then for that emergency, state of emergency, that illegal state of emergency, was black. But they love, and they want to tell you to vote for that. That way Roger and them want to tell me. Listen to the pundit again. There's a reason why I'm playing this, you know? Okay.
Think about it, my friends. We have no good leadership as the Indians in this country. In every sphere. Everyone who wants to lead only want to lead for their own pocket benefit, not for the community. Today's election or something? Can you see? I don't like to get into too much of the politics anymore. But I want to tell you something. And who vexed me, I don't care. Because none of them are giving me a cent. I'm a pundit and I am looked after by the society. But a pundit have rights. A pundit meaning I am the Purohit, I am your leader. And I must look after your welfare and tell you and guide you along the correct pathway. And I want to tell all you, do not make the mistake and vote for Kamala Prasad Shiti. Look at the quality of the people on that slate. Look at the lifestyle. Is that what you want your children to become? That's what your children to be? They have done nothing for us. She cannot win a general election. She's fighting to win a local election. Make sure and do not vote for her. I know people say things about me and I don't care. They don't mind me. They don't mind me. She don't like Hindu people. I will tell you this much. They only playing a game with you. If you have to vote in the UNC election, don't vote for her state. Vote for Pari. I'm telling you. Look beyond everything else and vote for it. If you want a chance to win the next election, you cannot vote for her. She has done nothing for you. Because when she was in power, no Indian children get any permanent job in no government work. All they did to Indian children was give them a 3-month and a 6-month contract. Ask them. And I'm sure you know. And when this government come in power and give their people permanent job, you vex? No, don't vex. That is their duty to help their own, who support them. Forget the race. And look at the UNC, never helped one Indian person to get a permanent job. 4 Indians are suffering because of the UNC, because of Kamala. Don't make the mistake and vote for she. I'm just giving you this message and I'm gone from here, from that topic. Don't make that mistake. Do not make that mistake. Otherwise, more criminals will come to your homes. more poverty will come to your homes. So you're getting a chance, and if you don't take it now, you and your children, including me and my family, all of us will suffer in this country. So we come back to the Qatar, the thieves and
right? The pundit. Let's see what's his name there again. Pundit Sad Dubey, Charlie Fish Mandir. He tell us straight, Indians suffer under Kamala. And he said, if you want sufferation to continue, then all the vote she. Is that where the suffering talk come from? Is Kamala was suffering the poor Indian people in the communities. He said she don't like Hindu. I don't even think Kamala likes herself. That where the suffering talk come. So when they tell all about suffering, tell them the pundits say Kamala suffer Indian people. And then get them no work at all, get them nothing. But she want to say she love we. If you don't love yourself and love your own, you could love anybody else. But I want to tell we, code is yellow. And her influencer thing, but code is yellow. The thing about it, I see somebody put up, they said PNM and PN influencers. Let me tell you something. Those influencers are not navi to talk politics and social issues. They were not political influencers or news influencers or anything like that. What is the purpose in paying them to jump out now to say what it will look fake? They don't have a history of bringing any critical information and things that they could sit down and have discussion. No, they were about entertainment. So what are you paying them to do? To jump in, to talk foolishness. Now I see the next one, read not a whole list again. Because I know she had generated that on she own. To talk about how much money PNM spend on that. Look, African people know all they're worth. Under the PNM, all they doesn't know all they're worth. When all they go under UNC and get treated like dog, or they're taking it and they say nothing. But not PNM. PNM provide all the opportunities, all the youth camp, John Dollanson, UTT, everything. UNC come in and close down all them things. Mr. Barry Garcia said, when Mr. Manning came back into office there, somebody told him about a school across the Crimey Bridge. The only African it was the 4 cleaners. It was a technical school or some kind of school, so everybody is Indian in it. Nobody didn't know about that school. And because of that, that is how we build UTT. So everybody could have a chance. This is what they say about Kamala Prasad Bisasa. When people tell you who they are, fool you once is on them, fool you twice on you, eh? Okay. Monday, April the 28th. Sit down home and say you ain't coming out. This was the 5th of March 2015 Daily Express. A crowd that one police officer estimated to have swelled to at least 200 by the time the procession hit the foreshore in Westmoreland entered the capital city with black flags flying, which some said signified the death of the peninsula as the property of the people. This is when, okay, so I didn't see the, look at it, this is the first paragraph. Cries of Kamala is the enemy proceeded a march yesterday from the Chaguaramas Convention Center to the Parliament building on the Port of Spain waterfront, carried out by persons claiming to be farmers and residents of the peninsula who said they are being bullied off their lands. The march comprised of large crowd from Gove Road Farmers Association, a group that had accused the Chaguaramas Development Authority, CDA. You remember that was Jai Lam, what's his name? Jai Sharma, whoever called the man so much and hungry and this and remember he Jai Shima or something, so and they had was remove him because it became too a topic that it looked too glaring, and I remember that he was down there in them time, Jai Shima. So you know he didn't like African at all. And the guava farmer is African. So where was the march comprised of large crowds from Guave Road Farmers Association, a group that has accused the Chaguaramas Development Authority CDA of routinely destroying fully grown crops at Guave Road, which they said has now been blocked off despite it being a public access point. Also marching were a Movement for Social Justice, MSJ, led by David Abdullah, and Black Caucus Movement and Civil Group, Fixing TNT, led by Kurt Wade. Angry protesters flooded the pavement outside the parliament and hurled insults as members of the government passed by, accusing them of being corrupt and of giving away the nation patrimony. The marchers bore photographs depicting persons overseeing the removal of crops at Guave Road, which the protesters said was done at the bequest of the CDA. In some photographs, felled banana trees could be seen by the scores, and one male individual, who the protesters claim is a high-level contractor, could be seen making a rude gesture to the camera. The farmers said they once made a significant contribution to the nation's food supply, but have now been blocked from entering what they believe to be a public area opposite the new CDA Broadwalk. They have also accused the CDA of compromising the wetlands bordering their farmlands and of plotting to invade the Tucker Valley Nature Reserve with plans for a hotel and golf course. However, of the biggest irritation to them yesterday was a rumor that government had moved undercover to sell the Chaguaramas Convention Center, which was later dismissed by Planning Minister Dr. Botiwari as being untrue. They have accused the CDA of working to systematically run them off their lands, to which some farmers have claimed tenure, saying they have been working the lands for decades. The authority also has been accused of allowing the lands to be taken up by friends and financiers of the People's Partnership government. The marchers said yesterday action is just the start of a series of planned protests against the development and plans of CDA. The Guave Road Farmers Association has for months hailed motorists in carnage with a display of placards against the CDA at a camp up near the earmark for the Carnage Fishing Depot. This activity will continue, they said, but promised to bring more protests to the capital. Right? And the point I'm making with all this, I won't continue because basically the same thing. They're accusing Kamala of being wicked and evil. And for what she was, remember they gave away that land and some popcorn deal, what they call it, popcorn rate or some kind of thing, so some dollar or something, so a year to they said that the PNM love the 1%. But who it is that was given all that area to? Who Kamala did host up at the diplomatic center when she was there and said that the country should emulate. Isn't that the quote-unquote 1%? Who love the 1% more than Kamala Persaud, the CES and the UNC? When people show you who they are, believe them. They fooled only once in 2010. By 2015, only vote them out. 2020, only vote them out. You can't tell me now that all they're going to say we must go back to that. Okay. They call she the enemy. I saw something that I looked at. I want you all to look at it and then I will talk about it. I want all you to look at it first. Just look at it with my face. Just look at it. Just a minute. Listen to this. This was being asked to some youths by one of those stations.
Okay, have you ever voted before? No. Are you interested in voting in this election? Honestly, no. Why? Tell us why. Because I don't think it will make a difference. Yeah, I don't think my vote would count or make a difference because I just feel like everything gets corrupted. Yeah.
So amongst conversations with your friends and stuff, are they interested in elections? What are young people talking about now?
Honestly, nobody wants to vote, and I don't think a lot of young people would vote because we have different views on things. And well, the way things going now is not like if anybody making a difference.
We are a party that has a bit more young persons involved that not so inclined to the racial biases and all of that we have right now in Trinidad with the two main parties that we have. That's how I feel. I feel like I might be inclined dependent on, what they come out with and what are their goals and what they want to achieve in the future and how they could benefit me as a young person in Trinidad and Tobago.
I will be voting in this election, and I think that young people should also vote. Why? Because attaining universal adult suffrage, we as young people do have the right to vote. It would be exercising our constitutional rights and our democratic rights to have a voice.
My thoughts on voting, I actually never gave voting any mind. I never paid any attention. Growing up, you would always say parents or the older persons, I'm gonna vote, but because I wasn't of age, 30 years, I never really gave it mind, then I would say.
So, in my eyes, both parties are not people I want to see in power. So, no.
And what are some of the things that the young people are interested in?
One being safe, jobs, and that's what I would say.
Ever since I was eligible in terms of voting, my parents have always encouraged me to go there, grow. This is part of growing up because we are citizens, we are of age, and we are eligible to vote, and we must act in accordance upon exactly what we as a citizen for our country is supposed to do, which is to put in our votes there.
Me personally, I'm not interested, I guess. So I never really saw myself, I should go out and vote, it's an important thing. And I never really felt like that. So I just don't think it will affect me. I would be much of an affected. Even if I vote, I don't know why I would be voting. That's how a lot of people just explain why you should vote and what's the benefits and how it affects the community. I don't really know, so I just wouldn't do it.
I would say that if you as a young person are concerned about job security,
I am the son of Agnes and Cyril Cummings, a proud son of Central Trinidad. My mother was a market vendor. I helped in the market quite often, and my father, a king cutter.
I want to let hear the end of it. Let us commercial thing finish. And I will talk quickly on that.
Finish universities, you would want to vote to ensure that you have jobs. If you have parents, if you have grandparents who are in need of healthcare, then you will vote and you would say where that money is going. If you currently have a job and you are paying taxes, then you will be concerned with how your tax money is being used. In essence, if you want to have a say in your future, then you will use your voice to vote right now.
If I was close to that young man, I would have given him a big hug. I'm going to talk about race here for a particular reason. You hear what the two Indian youth and them say? One say he mother and them would tell him to vote. He have always voted, whatever. You see how this other one elaborate and say the reason why I should vote? When I go to the African youth and them, I don't think I vote and think it make no sense. And I wish those African youths could look back at this tape that I just played here and listen to what another youth, just like them, the only difference is his ethnicity. But a youth just like them who live in the same Trinidad, hear how he approached voting. He let you know they have a choice. Because if you want it, your parents this and university this, you have to vote to make sure these things happen, right party. But we African youths, what we voting for? May make no sense. They ain't making up. So he live in the same Trinidad. That would tell if I was close here and see him, I hug him up and give him a kiss. Because he understand the thing. But then African youth will turn and ball. Nobody will give them nothing. Nobody ain't listening to them. Nobody don't hear we so it sense. The two youths and them of Indian descent, we voted. I've always voted since I became legal age. My mother and them tell me to vote. And that is the difference. Huh? What are we teaching we African youths and them home summer we? Huh? You hear the Indian youth say adult suffrage. You understand what I mean? Because there was a time people like him, his parents, my parents, grandparents, his great-grandparents, my great-grandparents, could not vote. Because we didn't have land, we didn't have property. So he understands how much people fight for us to have a right to vote and he's not going to waste it. But we African children, where's the sense? Why voting for? Well, the teaching some, all the teaching all the children home, boy. As I tell all you, I don't see race and I see face unless you come at me kind of sideways or anything. No. At the end of the day, all them is children, you know. Them is Trinidad and Tobago children, you know. But I wanted to make a distinction to show you how them two Indian youths thinking. While the African youths say, what are you voting for? So when we tell all in the Indian community, Bauji, Nenen, who could hop, who can see, who could walk, wherever, go in and vote. It comes from that mentality. But why voting for? What sense it go make? Well, why don't you take your phones and the same way this young man understand the adult suffrage and why you should vote? Why you don't take all the phones and sit down with all the phones and see why young people should vote? You see? So I just want to tell the African youth, I'm not vexed at all, you know. I just telling all this something because if all the mother ain't telling all you, all the father ain't telling all you, your auntie, I go tell all you. It is important that you go and register your vote. Read up on why it is important that young people vote. Because when you vote, you're able to lend your voice to something. Then you have a demographic that young people could make a change by going and lobbying, carrying your proposal forward. And get those things made into policy. How you think policy is made is based on different groups, different pressure groups, different interest groups who write up what they want and what they want and this, whatever, and they send it to you. Those things are looked at by the parliament and whoever it is. And sometimes out of those things, laws and policies are made. But if all the voice not there and there's only one set of people voice there and all they don't get anything, and the government had to study, I think this is what young people will want to ever. Who will they blame for that? So while all they sit down for me want to vote, the Indian children go in and vote. And me vex with them at all, the damn right. Go and exercise your democratic right and be a part of the process so you could have a voice. Me vex with them at all. So, this is what Prime Minister Young would have said about voting.
Because you see, what they secured with our independence was a right for every citizen of Trinidad and Tobago, eventually over the age of 18, to cast a vote and to vote for your choice of person, your choice of party. People in the past have died for the right to vote. People in the past have had their voice of freedom taken away from them. But those who came before us and fought against colonialism for independence and the right for us to vote did that for a very, very specific reason. And tonight, it saddens me these decades later, but it doesn't bother me that I have the responsibility that in 2025, I have to come to the population of Trinidad and Tobago to talk about some of the ill events and the gangsterism and the thug-like behavior that unfortunately those on the other side are engaging in. Because you see, I have told you night and night again, from platform to platform in Tobago to all over Trinidad, that if it is one thing I take seriously, is my responsibility to Trinidad and Tobago. But secondly, I am fearless and I will always fight for what is right. And tonight I am fighting for your right to vote for who you want to vote for. Not Monday.
Right? Prime Minister said it. People died for us to have the right to vote. And we African Trends said, me a voting. What I go do? The Indian Trends say my mother and them tell me to vote. And since I come the legal age, I voted. The other one explained all the reason why to vote. They go to university, pay parents for healthcare, to have a voice, to have an input. But let me tell you something. I see, they say, Kamla Pasabi says, and then put out the cabinet picks. I want us to marinate in our brain that when we go out to vote, this is who we could end up with in the parliament. It says, Kurt Mehu, I go in my way, see here, their team. Attached below are the proposed cabinet picks under Kamla Persad-Bissessar upcoming administration. I must emphasize in the strongest possible terms, this information is not to be shared, forwarded, or discussed outside this chat group. Any leak could compromise our strategic response. Proposed cabinet appointment. Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar SC. Attorney General Anand Ramlogan SC. Minister of Finance Dr. Rudal Munilal. Minister of, just now, let me get the other side. Minister of Energy and Energy Industries Barry Paradat. Minister of Works and Transport Jolene John. Minister of National Security Dr. David Lee, and he's not no doctor. David Lee, he have an honorary doctorate. Minister of Justice John Jeremy SC. Minister of Youth Development and National Service Anil Ram. Minister of Housing and Urban Development Kennedy Sawar Singh. Hey. Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs Nicholas Morris. Minister of Social Development and Family Services Khadija Amin. Minister of Public Utilities Roger Alexander. Let me tell you something. All they sit down home, and all the children sit down home, and the neighbors sit down home, and this one sit down home, and don't go out in all the numbers and vote like all they going out and watch the meetings and enjoy the meetings and love the energy and all that, and let these people come in. These are the people who they put to say, as you imagine, Minister of Energy and Energy Industries, Barry Paradat. Could you see Barry Paradat going to sit down with Marco Rubio, Secretary of State for the US, to negotiate on we behalf? What negotiation skills he have? Huh? You can see Roger Alexander, Public Utilities Minister. Khadija Amin, Minister of Social Development and Family Services. And Aram, that is the man who, I think from what take away some embezzlement and money and thief and all kind of things from two state entity, isn't he? National Security, David Lee. A man who the DPP said look back over a case because they did what they do with the case? Dismiss. That don't mean to say innocent, it don't mean to say guilty. The DPP said look it over, Senator Judge to look over that. That Minister of National Security. Well, yeah. Attorney General Anand Ramlogan SC, who call her SOE, and they look up over 8,000 or 9,000 African youths from around the Nelson, they're surely just now. Eh? Minister of Finance, Dr. Rudal Munilal. Hey! This is who you have as a Prime Minister now, and will continue to be a Prime Minister if all they do what they had to do.
Well, the name of the community organization is Freetown Sports Group. It is a sports development company that provides opportunity to young student athletes. And over the past few years, Stuart has always been at the forefront of the program, supporting financially and in person physically. And that's one thing I always appreciate, forgetting politics, forget whatever it may be. Within the constituency as well, he has assisted us with our water problems. He has assisted us with a lot of other logistical problems that we have been having over the past few years. So I say all that to say that he has been present. He has been present in all of the youth programs that I have been present in. And from the interaction through those experiences, youth development is at the forefront of what he is about. It may seem like a small thing, but to us who are usually neglected, it said a lot, and based off of that, it was to me an indication of what could be possible.
Right? That is remember Parliament. Before he was any Prime Minister, that remember Parliament. That's how he does roll. That's how he does do it. He don't make up thing, He always there with them trend, always there with the youth, always with the elders, always in not so young, not so, That's how he is, That no show for no camera, Real thing, I listen to Mrs. Beverly Ramsey more. I don't know if she's Mrs. I think she is. Beverly Ramsey more. Listen to her. Just give me a minute, let me find it across here. Just 1 minute. All they play. All they play. Play. What do you think, boy? Okay.
Prime Minister Young, your father paid forward for you. Your father paid forward for you. So when I see you running around those bands as a panjumbi, it had to be in your blood without you even knowing it. Keith Simpson is here. With the appointment of the new Managing Director, Richard Young, father of our Prime Minister, Stuart Young, assistance to unsponsored banks, and I'm talking about Scotiabank, assistance to unsponsored banks continued on an annual basis and on a much larger scale. Unsponsored bands in the large, medium, small, and single-pan bands receive assistance in all zones, north, south, east, and Tobago. And Keith Simpson, who was also a former vice president of Trinidad, when he worked at Scotiabank with your father, they ensured that bands, I don't know what is wrong with Scotiabank these days, but we'll find out next year. But they ensured that steel bands every year, unsponsored bands, got a grant. And I remember coming to Trinidad, leaving Tobago as manager of Cats and Jammers, coming to Trinidad, going to Scotiabank to receive that check to assist my bands, and your father was there having over 65 steel bands every single year whilst he was there. He poured, and so he sowed the seeds so that today you can reap the benefit of the steel pan community by supporting you in your fight. When we look around, as grassroots leaders, we check to see those leaders in society who are supporting us, who is pushing the pan on stage, who is waving the flag on stage, who is in the safe and the sacred spaces of our panyans. And when we look, we see you. We see you, Prime Minister. And because of that, we know that you are a leader of empathizers. We know that you care. We know that you are concerned about the grassroots young people. And by that, we say in Panchindigo that young is the man on the ground.
Right? All you hear there for yourself. It must always have people who will come and testify. You don't have to do it. It always have people who will come and testify for you and vindicate you when others are against you. It will always have somebody who will be there to testify on your behalf. I'm going to play our next testimony, and this is from somebody who has passed on, but he would have left that testimony not probably even knowing how relevant it is going to be in 2025. Let me find it here quick. Just now. Let me find it quick. Oh God, sometimes it's so far to look back at all these things, eh? There's so much. I will tell you the seeds that you sow. Prime Minister Father sowed the seed when he was back at the Scotia Bank. I think that's what Ms. Beverly Ramsey-Moore mentioned, that he made sure every year unsponsored band got money. Right? Today, she could come and talk that because it's true. You hear the young man speak about Prime Minister, Member of Parliament, with the young children and football and all that. He's always there, making sure that he gives back to the young people. It's about the youth. So when I hear the two young persons or three young African youths saying they're sure they're voting and all that, not understanding the importance, because you're getting a prime minister who is touching you. Dr. Keith Christopher really did his part, you know. We needed that type of prime minister at that time to bring me through, you know, to bring me through a recession and COVID-19. No, trust me, no, we needed that kind of prime minister, you know. This is a new chapter. So don't feel we diminishing the work of Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley. He played his part, and we'll always thank him for that. A new chapter now. It takes a different type of leadership now. And this is what, I still scrolling when I talking to all right. This is what somebody in 2020 would have said, not knowing his words will come back in 2025 to vindicate the man who is now the Prime Minister and be tasked to lead the PNM into election. This is, God rest his soul, Franklin Khan was the Minister of Energy at the time.
And I want to share one further point here with the nation. When the Prime Minister met with the leaders of the energy sector, it was decided to establish what we call an empowered negotiating team of technocrats and led by two ministers. Myself, as Minister of Energy, and the Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister, the Honorable Stuart Young. And today, I want this nation to know that we owe a debt of gratitude to the Honorable Stuart Young for his contribution in this whole exercise. He has been very, very instrumental in these negotiations because as a litigation lawyer, he knew what to say, what not to say. I was there at his side. I've been expert in the field of energy, but he was the expert negotiator. And both of us worked diligently together as a team to deliver these results for Trinidad and Tobago. That gentleman is young, he is bright, he's productive, he's an extremely hard worker.
Right? You see here the proposals I call the one to put Barry Pirate as Minister of Energy and Energy. What is his qualification? Toting bag? Calling people son of a bitch? What is his qualification to go and sit down? Is he a litigator? Is he trained in negotiations in the oil industry, in the energy sector? Is he trained in even, is he a geologist, a volcanologist? What is he? That they want to just flippantly just put him over who? Prime Minister Stuart Young? As the Minister and the Minister of Energy? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I want to call out, today was Red Day. Tobago looked nice. Tobago was out in the streets. Let me see if I could show you. I don't know if this will open back up. They were in the streets and they were doing the thing in Tobago. I have a picture with people on Frederick Street. Somebody sent me a picture, some people sitting on Frederick with a big PNM flag. But this was in Tobago. Let me see if I could get it open here. So that was the action there in Tobago today. Today was very red. Everybody were. I didn't go out today, so I don't know what to look outside, but I know a girlfriend of mine, she sent up it to let me know she have one she read. And somewhere she went again and people in the red, so I don't know how it was here. But again, I just asking you all. Let me see what this is here.
So this is a postcard from the MP of Port of Spain North St. Anne's West to the first-time voters, the Honourable Stuart Young SC. I love this idea, right? So I'm blocking off the person's name and the address. It's directly delivered. It's supposed to be delivered directly to the first-time voter. Very personal touch. It says, dear first-time voter, you are the heartbeat of our nation's future. You are ready and responsible, ready to be heard, ready to shape change, and ready to make an impact. This is the beginning of a new chapter, a chapter where your voice shapes the future of our nation, your dreams inspire progress, and your actions lead the way for a brighter Trinidad and Tobago. Stuart R. Young, SC. I love it. It's a nice little postcard directly to the first-time voter. Because they matter. They really do matter. Those young people do matter. I love it.
All right. That is who my member of parliament is. Our member of parliament for Port of Spain North St. Anne's West. You see that? Nice postcard sent out to first-time voters. And I hope that the African youths who say they're not voting, I hope they're in our constituency, and I hope that they would have gotten one of those postcards. Or I hope they went back and looked at the news clip and see how they sounded compared to the two young men of Indian descent. But I want to tell you all, before I close here, because I may have something on Sunday, I'm not sure. So this is what I want to, just give me a minute. I'm going to tell my phone, just so I'm going to run out of space. I want to encourage everybody. It is important, if you never voted before, if you never voted for the PNM before, if you're vexed with the PNM or you're vexed with this one, I want you all to put that aside for a minute and think logically about the future of Trinidad and Tobago. Not today, where they give you something today. And how the geopolitics is. Somebody said they told somebody they don't know about the IMF, and they said their mother and them was with the IMF. And it just shows you that people sometimes really don't know. The IMF is the International Monetary Fund, and that comes, to break it down simply, it is a bank, and if you're broken, you just borrow money from them. But when you borrow money from them, the kind of strict regulation they put in on that money you're borrowing from them, sometimes it's better you do it out and leave them alone. But if you choose to, a lot of things in your household could end. All your luxury items, all your entertainment, all that end, they just want you to work and pay back. That's basically what the IMF is, but it is on a larger scale and a country, not just your house, but that's basically what it is. And that is what the UNC want to bring us to, because it doesn't have any money in the system like that where they're proposing to do this and do that. It don't have any ready cash like that. So the first thing we know they may do, because we saw them do before, and they wanted to do it, go UTC and take whatever money there, that is all their savings. Go National Insurance and take whatever surplus money there, that is savings. Go in the central bank and bring up the overdraft again like they did before the exchequer come from 10 billion, they might bring it up to $33 billion. We know they will do that. They might go see what they could get, go Paria, see what they could get, go Heritage, see what they could get. When that's done, they might make laws to go and interfere with the part of the Heritage and Stabilization Fund that they can't interfere with. When all that done now, to keep whatever promise and who contract and whatever that is what they do, you have to go IMF. When that happen, them go keep their work because them as politicians, public officers go lose them, and we go really start to suffer in Trinidad and Tobago, because especially the way the world is right now with our President Trump in office. So again, I want to urge people, all who vex, and I want you all to come out. It was the first time in 2025 in this election. Come on resoundingly for the member of parliament or the candidates in your area that is the PNM candidate, and make sure that the PNM gets into office with a prime minister like Prime Minister Stuart Young. who taken this country to a new chapter. He has the ability. Everybody telling us, He is saying it, everybody telling us, He's empathetic. He has the knowledge, the ability, the experience. He's a hard worker. He will fight for us. He is perfect. He can't get everything right. But he will try his level best to make sure that the citizens or the stakeholders at Trinidad and Tobago, whether it's UNC, whether it's ULF, PDP, PEA, whoever you are, TPP, whoever you are, because you will be a citizen at Trinidad and Tobago. And when they are governing, when the PNM government is not for PNM people, or UNC people, or the Syrian, or the Chinese, or the Spanish, it's for all at Trinidad and Tobago. So I urge you all, this is it here, all I have nobody to blame. If on the 29th it has somebody else sitting there with the color yellow, all I have nobody else to blame. So if you want to see this continue, you want to see what this new chapter is, because let her give Kamala a chance, because she said give she a chance. She's a mother, she's a grandmother, that it turn out, but they say she wicked and she evil. Now this feminist said give him a chance. Let us see what this new chapter is. Let's see. And they have 5 years to hold the Prime Minister to account and the PNM to account. Let us see the new chapter. Let us see where you're going with the young people. This committee for the young people with the arts. This one for that. Let us see. Why not give him a chance also? This is a new leader, a different leader. It's not the same old leader like Kamala Persad-Bissessar, who remained there when everybody running from the party, everybody that were the soul. Yes, there was the opposition. There was my favorite people, nothing because there was the opposition. But at least they brought some value to the UNC. Everybody gone. Dinesh gone. Lala gone. Anita gone. Where's the next one? And Pare gone. Wait, that is a dog show? So I want to tell Caroni Central constituency. It don't matter if it is a UNC constituency. Or they come out, PNM people, come out and support Adam Hossain for Caroni Central. Come out and support Lena Rampersad for Caroni East. Or have to win that seat in the election with NAR. It didn't have to, it was 33-3. So in Shoguana's West and support Winston Mahabir. Come out in Couva North and support Brent Maraj. Come out in Couva South and support Aaron Mohammed. Come out and support Sarah Nangu for Naparima. Come out and support Brooklyn Mohammed for Princess Tong. Come out and support Richard Ragbir for Oropouche East. Come out and support for Oropouche West, Sean Dubé. Come out and support Natasha Mohammed for Siparia. Let me give Kamala Persad-Bissessar cocktail that she can't recover from. Let me take away Siparia from she. All the poor Indians, the ones and them who the pundits say, she don't care about all this. She don't care about Indian people. She don't care about Hindu people. She don't care about poor people. Only come out and support Natasha Mohammed and Siparia. Take away Siparia from she. Get representation for the first time. Only know Kamala don't represent all they don't in Siparia. Only know the roads ain't fixed. Only ain't getting water. Only ain't getting work. But only voting because she's an Indian and Kamala. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Vote for representation. Vote for Natasha Mohammed. In Tabakit, Or they vote for Marissa Alvarado in St. Augustine, or in St. Augustine or Rapun Gardens. And make sure Senator Renuka Sabran Suklal become the next member of parliament for St. Augustine, where she could do the work. She come to do the work. She have a heart for the work and she love the people, all the people. She's not interested in some people because the person who they have going up there, we don't know from day to day what this individual will be involved in. Palm Club, Double Club, Pop. We don't know. We want somebody steady and stable, St. Augustine. Cut away from that kind of tribal voting. Or let's say PNM people tribal. No, PNM people has moved the vote. All they vote for the first time in history. My Indian brothers and sisters, my Hindu brothers and sisters, Muslim brothers and sisters, move it the first time in history and vote for representation. Vote for Senator Renuka Sagram Singh Suklal in St. Augustine. And you see all the other constituencies that are considered PNM stronghold come out even more. If your member of parliament in 2020 get 9,000 votes, make sure that person get 12,000 votes, 13,000 votes. Come out in your number, make this be history making. The EBC already said the special voter turnout for 1 or 2 days was record breaking. So it tells you, special voters, make sure they had a name down there to vote before they had to go away and do this and do that. They make sure they register the vote. So who is we? Come out in the numbers and you see Port of Spain North, St. Anne's West. Add the cherry on the cake. Add the cherry on the cake. Make sure Philip Dirty Mouth, Stink Mouth Alexander, who have no respect for woman, have no respect for African woman, have no respect for Indian woman, have no respect for Chinese woman, have no respect for Syrian woman, have no respect for Caucasian woman, have no respect for First Peoples women. He have no respect for women. He have respect for himself. Make sure that he can't even count the vote on them because he again none. I was saying, lay count it on your hand, lay it where it had nothing to count. Make it show up 0, 0, 0. Every constituency, 0, 0, 0, 0. Look, he had 2. People going wrong in vehicle. Last name gonna be asked, and in the middle I put. That a cut the vote. I mean the live. Anytime he name call it like it doesn't interfere with people live, report them. You can't make comment on the page or nothing at all. That is insecurity because if all is so sure they win, why you have to do all them things? If I try winning something, I press easy breezy. Me have time to lie on nobody. Me have time to jumpy nobody because all they know they're going to lose. And this time, Kamala can't recover. The UNC won't be able to recover from this until about 2035. So as I was saying again, Port of Spain North, St. Anne's West, give Philip Dirty Stinking Mouth 100% piece of filth. A cut us a life politically. That's what we had to do. And we taking back that for how we cuss. Camille Robinson Regis. How we disrespected deceased Lisa Murray and Julian and her children in that tragic fire. How we disrespect Even Kamala and all they does is disrespect and they deal with she. You see, this kind of man, or they ain't no kind of man at all. That why all they so much he can't have no woman. Because no woman they want all they for no length of time. From the time they find out who all is, they gone. You dirty and stink piece of red filth. People, I say. That's all I could say. The ball is in all their court. If all they want a nightmare, come April the 28th, stay home. If all they want a future for all the children, and then all them young children who will be running and hugging and screaming, Stewarty. If all they want a future for them children, not all there, for them children, all they go and vote for the People's National Movement. And again, in my constituency, Port-au-Prince, North St. Anne's West, we ain't making joke politically. We taking no prisoners politically. None. You can't walk in here and disrespect me like that. None. We go show you how people is boss. We go show you how much you say nobody likes Stuart Young. We go show you how much we love Stuarty. We go show you how much we love Stuarty. You 100% piece of filth. We'll show you how much we love Stuarty. Let me see all who here. So Joel, Claire, Ursha, Diane, Daniel, Leon, Laris, Dandy, Tessa, Andre, Judy, Ezra, Christopher, Cheryl, Kenneth, Michael, Mary, Margaret, Donna, Hadara, Joyda, Emmeline, Sarah, and Ingrid. Thank you all, and all those whose names did not show up when I call them, for always staying locked on and always staying tuning. Jenny, do you have information? There's no 200,000 Venezuelans voting. You must look at people as link themselves to certain energy. She linked herself to Kizelle Jackson. So what that tells you about her? These outlandish things that they say, if they have proof of that, let them carry it where it needs to carry. And that was already trashed out. Some man say, see how much 100,000 Venezuelans. That has already been debunked. That has been debunked. The law is those migrants who are here registered, they cannot vote. That is the law. That is the law. That's right. They can't vote. They can't vote. But you see, they have to throw out all these things to create things. That's why I tell you, if they show sure they will win. Why you need to lie? From the time they're trying so hard with lying, the PNM don't have to lie. It tells you that they know they're getting a cut out. That's why I tell you, Kamala Persad Bissessa won't be able to recover from this defeat. That is why I want the young lady up in Superior, or let come out and support she. All Indian people, all African people, break that mold, come out and vote resoundingly. Let me see if I get your name again before I stop the live. I think her name is Natasha, if I was not mistaken just now. Give me a minute. Separia. Natasha Mohammed. Come out, vote out Kamala. Kamala don't do nothing for all you. Roger, all of them say that Kamala don't do nothing for all you. All the voting she for because she's Indian. Well, this young lady is Indian too. This young lady is Indian too. So they can't tell me no other excuse I won't vote for. She only voted for Kamala because she's Indian. This young lady is Indian too. If that's the way all they want to go. So people, again, it is in all your hand, young people. Listen to them, two Indian youths and them. The reason why they say it is important to vote. Listen to Prime Minister Stuart Young and why he says it's important to vote. And listen to the plans that he has for all yourself. All still young people. And the one who said there are no young people, I don't know if she's watching the parties and then properly because the PNM full of young people. So I don't know. People, see you all. I may do a live on Sunday. If I don't, I want to tell you all, have a blessed weekend. Make sure Monday morning you get up early, you say your prayers, you brush your teeth, you have something to eat, and head to the polls. Carry everybody. Carry everybody. Don't wait until 4 o'clock, don't wait until 3. Go out early and vote. So by the time 11, 12 o'clock in the day, you could have a sense of what's going on because the lines and them long. And even if it's long, stand up, carry an umbrella, carry a little seat to sit down. Go out. Don't get discouraged because the line long. It means just that people is interested in voting. Register your vote. So when your member of parliament win, you can afford to say, I vote for you. I vote for you. PNM, I vote for you. You can hold them accountable. In the absence of that, you can't hold nobody accountable. People, I love you all. See you all either on Sunday, or if not, it would not be Monday night, because I tell you earlier, me just can't take that sort of excitement. I have a song like I could, I ain't with them excitement, right? So it will be Tuesday, God's will. And I want, when I come here to sit down to do this live, we'll be able to say, great is the PNM, great is the PNM, great is the PNM, and it has prevailed. And our Prime Minister is Prime Minister Stuart Richard Young, and all the members of Parliament inside. And that we get some seats. Let me rephrase it, because you have to be realistic too. Yeah, boy. But make sure we have about 26, 27 seats, because we take away seats down in UNC Heartland. You see them 18 seats that custom guy, they'll be breaking out and take about 5 from them, or even 6 from them. And you see Komoto, Mansalena, Voodoo, Voodoo, Voodoo. If not Voodoo, then who? We taking them in a Rima, Lohoketa. I coming down here, I might miss out some. Tanapuna, I coming down again. Where we are? St. Augustine. Where we are after that? Sawa Bataria. Where we are after that? Port of Spain. Lavantel, Mova. East, West. Where we have again? Port of Spain South. St. Anne's East. Port of Spain North. St. Anne's West. Then we have they go South, Central, West. Taking everything. Everything. We coming. Because it's a new chapter. Love you all. I go on. It's PNM, PNM, PNM. I go on. Love all your bad.
This election was like war among them party. When I was more than sure they win already. Husky Phillips said, tell them that's the last of PNM. But when the rest complete, is he who end up without a seat. Not a damn seat for them. Mama, that's what Chambers said. Not a damn seat for them. Not a single seat on election day. Not a damn seat for them. How they lose, they can't understand. Not a damn seat for them. They call in Chambers a Obia man. Them ONR jump and whine, making a big show. As they had the crowd behind, everywhere they go. So they thought that crowd was both. They say they're gonna cut the throat.